never let anyone tell you that DMing is a thankless job. I'm probably biased. My friends just sent me a delightful birthday present, a copy of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is a fabulous book with a wonderful sense of humor. I'm enjoying it. And with that, of course, they sent the message that they hope I enjoy Dungeoning and Dragoning with them in typical fashion. But, you know, you would hope, right, with the playing of a game that people would be enjoying it. That's kind of the point, I guess. But goodness knows, quite a few DMs end up not enjoying themselves. And not because what they're doing is somehow unfun, but because what was fun starts to feel like labor, like work. And they end up feeling quite lonely as part of it. Which is understandable, isn't it? A whole bunch of people all on the other side of the table talking to one another, thinking of themselves as a team, and standing on the other side of the table is the DM. And it feels rather oppositional, even though it's really not the case. It's that feeling, you all have each other and I just have me. But what to do with that whole scenario, right? There's two ways to deal with this. One, cut back the work you do on your own. And again, one of two ways. Love a good forking diagram, right? You can do the work with somebody else there, somebody to bounce off of, or just to hang out with. Like, this is my DM planning time, and I'm gonna invite over so-and-so, and we're gonna hang out and play music and eat popcorn. I don't know, whatever it is that people do. Basically a study buddy, right? Or two, you can cut back the work you do on your own by just cutting back the work you're doing. If it's starting to feel laborious, you're probably doing a lot, right? So do less. Nobody will die. Well, I mean, maybe they will die, but only because of gameplay reasons, not because of you not knowing what the church is called and having to come up with it on the fly or something. Nothing will fall apart if you do less. In fact, you can do very, very, very minimal work ahead of time. You can get away with it. Especially if you just say, hey guys, go get some food, and I'm gonna spend half, the time that you're gone just working it out. It's a way to do things. The second way, and I mean second with the there's no capitals in numbers, but in numerals, but like big two. Second option, how to deal with DM stuff, is to invite gratitude, right? I can guarantee you that any DM, their players appreciate them on some level. Even if you suck as a DM. And, but if you're there, if you're doing it, like, they appreciate you on that level. Like, look at this person who's doing the thing. Guess what? We get to play Dungeons and Dragons because that person is standing there with the fancy books and all the stress. Right? Like, they do appreciate you. So just let them appreciate you. I didn't exactly, scoff at the idea of receiving this book. I sent a very excited message to them when I got it in the mail. In fact, actually it was a little bit belated, but I was quite sick, so you'll forgive me if I was unable to move and resting constantly. Catching all that sleep. But, sometimes, right, the work that you're doing as a DM is invisible. We all have this problem. You create a whole bunch of stuff, and then the players don't touch it, and then nobody ever sees it, right? This is a fairly well-documented phenomenon. So a lot of the work you're doing is utterly invisible. And that's even with the stuff that they do interact with, right? It doesn't necessarily translate how much time you spend, how much thought you put in versus what they're actually experiencing, right? Any creativity of any kind will take hours to create and seconds to consume. This is the gulf that exists between creation and consumption, right? So fundamentally, how do you make your players aware of all the work you just did? Obvious answer, you tell them. You show them, hey, I spent 2 hours yesterday coming up with some really cool stuff for you. And they go, ooh, cool stuff. But they're also realizing in some other part of their brain that our DM just spent 2 hours. They know that now because you told them. Let people know what you're up to. It's also good for hype, right? Like, makes you more enthusiastic, them more enthusiastic, helps them engage with your stuff, right? Which is the ultimate scenario. And, okay, so perhaps you have players who think that comes off as a little bit whiny. Maybe you overdo it, or you don't balance the what I just did with enthusiasm enough. It's not balanced, right? Perhaps it starts coming off as a bit like, oh no, woe is me, right? And your players start just getting annoyed rather than sympathetic. Here comes the secret bonus option to dealing with feeling underappreciated. Which, by the way, I am not at this point. Because I've just seen some lovely appreciation. So, third bonus option. Treat yourself. Have some, you know, like, they're not nice to me, they don't reward me enough. Reward yourself. This is the secret way, okay? You say, if I spend X time doing Y, Z will happen. And Z can be whatever you like. Could be extravagant or not. Could be simple or not. Could be something game related or something entirely outside of the Dungeons and Dragons world, right? Whether it's just the fact that, like, once I've got my session notes down, then I will eat the chocolate bar. Simple, not too extravagant. 2, if I finish these campaign notes, or this project, or whatever, then I will buy for myself some expensive extra materials. This is a thing you can do. You can say, like, I deserve it, and I'll be using it. And everything you get, right? It's more inspiration in the tank. It's more, ooh, I could do that, you know? Bottled up and handed to you on a silver platter. It's really important, right? To feel good. Have a good time. Enjoy the game. And sometimes, you know, DMs, we get slightly the raw end of the situation. Sitting by yourself in a room is just awful. And no one should ever do it ever when they have to then produce stuff. If you're just hanging out by yourself, that's fine. But, like, when you have to suddenly, like, make things happen, like, it's not fun. And if you have players not necessarily realizing that that's the DM life, tell them what the DM life is for you. And, you know, just make sure to give them a few treats here and there, your players. And they'll appreciate it, they will. In-game, out-of-game. You know, a lawnmower maybe. I don't know if you can hear that on the recording, but it's there. Whether it's a special piece of gear or just a literal actual cupcake that you made or something. Do it. It's good. Put more kindness out into the world and it will come back to you. And if it doesn't, then coerce it into coming back to you. Not all items are boomerangs. Sometimes you have to put some elastic on that to spring back. Weird metaphors with Jess. Drink tea, play D&D. Thank your DMs, and get thanks from your players. Make it happen, because it makes you feel good and want to do more.